here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline?
I was very tempted to just put defense.
I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
Come on, Austin and I've been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
The Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. What a wild week it was. And Austin, I'm Kevin, joined by the self-believer, Austin. But
Yep.
also let's talk about the Monday Night Football game.
Wow, I don't even know really where to start. It was an amazing game at the very end. Offenses really couldn't get it together, but it kind of shows, and the Bucks have shown this probably every game they played, that they're better when they go up tempo and try to play a 2-minute offense instead of doing whatever they're doing the rest of the game. I don't know whether it's the defense is playing prevent or if something else is causing the wildly different results that happen in the beginning of the game versus the end of the game. But there's definitely something there where I think they could take advantage and hopefully for them get much better.
Yeah, and my thing is, I thought, I'm going, let's wait. Now I'm kind of at the point where I'm not sure if they're a good team, but if they get into the playoffs, they're probably going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Their defense is good enough for them to win, and you have Tom Brady as your quarterback. That's a scary sight. Tom Brady's only had 3 seasons with a below top 10 defense. Those being 2002, 2005, and 2011. But this year, I think they're like 5th in points allowed, and while the offense is 27th. So there's definitely some negatives there when it comes to the team overall, or at least their offense. But it's hard to say whether or not that's more on the receivers who before last week led the league in drops, or if that's on the play calling, or if that's on the run game that still has not gotten together yet. I don't really know, but there's definitely something wrong.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but if they get into the playoffs, I think they're a very dangerous team just because they have Tom Brady in the defense. So I want to talk about that. And then, did you catch the Jets and Vikings game? I caught the end.
I did also catch the end.
It was I thought they were gonna have it there, but they just couldn't connect on the Barrios almost touchdown, and then at the end, Mike White just tried to force it, but not a big thing to me.
Let's just say this: they are better with Mike White, I believe, than Zach Wilson.
I would agree. We'll have to see what happens next year, but this year I do agree. Go with Mike White.
I'm really confused about whether or not they're a contender because I don't know whether or not their team can stick with it. What are your thoughts on that?
I would call them a contender if they were in the NFC.
I think that's fair to say. Because of the Jimmy Garoppolo injury, and we don't know how Brock Purdy's going to play and everything else, you really do have to wonder who are the contenders in the NFC other than the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Vikings. They're the only 3 teams I could really see winning it. But again, anything that makes the playoffs because of the lack of talent in the NFC, I really feel like would have a serious chance.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Cowboys. Let's see what they do in the playoffs.
Is that because of a lack of faith in Dak or what?
I think it's just a lack of faith in this team. I think it's probably because of past things. Because to me, they can be an inconsistent team because you have the bad loss to Green Bay. they absolutely dominate the Vikings. Then they start off slow against the Colts, and then they just show up in the fourth quarter and destroy the Colts. And I'm just not sure what team is going to show up in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, I do also have to wonder about things that obviously are having issues, such as the with the Vikings. I don't know whether or not Kirk Cousins is going to be a playoff performer. If we go to the Giants, I don't know whether or not their O line is going to be able to take a Bucks game or a Cowboys game or a team that has a great O line. I mean D line like the Eagles or something like that. With Washington, if they can get to the quarterback, I mean, they could always do it. They could always be there and make great plays. But what are your thoughts on all that? How do you feel about any of the other NFC teams?
I kind of still like the Niners because of that defense. And they still have weapons on the offense. It's just, will Brock Purdy be a rookie or will he just be okay? Because I think if he's okay, then maybe near the end, Jimmy Garoppolo comes back, depending on where it all ends up. But that defense looks incredible. And they were still able to beat a very good Dolphins team, which I think is a contender in the AFC without Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I feel like that was more about the defense than it was. And you're right, the defense is outstanding. And then the Seahawks are still in it. They're 7-5. They're not completely out of it. And especially if the San Francisco 49ers fall off at all, I mean, they'll have a serious chance. And then, I mean, I just don't know. I'm sure you heard that now Von Miller is out for the year with the ACL tear. They reported that today, which will definitely hurt the Bills. So, how many true Super Bowl contenders are there, in your opinion?
Counting both conferences, so AFC and NFC.
Yes.
All right, I'll go Chiefs to me are still a contender. Bills still a contender. Dolphins. And then I'll go Eagles, and I'll put in Vikings. And then San Francisco's a maybe, so we'll go with 5.
How many AFC teams did you have? Can you say
I have 3 AFC teams.
Those were again Chiefs, Bills, and Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised you don't have the Cowboys because I feel like their defense. Your reason for like almost 49ers, wouldn't that be the same reason for almost Cowboys at least? Or no?
No.
Why no?
Has there ever been an off day for the Niners this year?
I'd say yes, they had. Well, I mean, you're looking up right now. What would you consider an off day in general? An off day is what?
So, I'm looking at like their defensive points. They gave up 44 points to the Chiefs. They gave up 28 points to the Falcons.
Well, that's what I was saying. How many points is too many to give up?
I think 28. So I guess there is an off day with Atlanta. But I just, it's personal reasons. I'm just not believing in the Cowboys till they show it.
Is that more of the fact that you're a fan and you don't want to be disappointed?
Yes.
Or, okay.
And it's the past 25 years. We'll see what they do. Even though I'm just enjoying right now, it's a very fun team. This defense looks very good. But the cornerback is definitely an issue now with Anthony Brown going down.
That's true. I mean, that will hurt, but I mean, any team with Micah Parsons.
Well, yeah. But if Kelvin Joseph just keeps getting burned, and then Diggs had a very bad play earlier on in the game. But
that's true.
So,
how do you feel about the Ravens? Do you think they can survive without Lamar for a little bit?
I don't think so. To me, Lamar was really pushing that offense, and then I just don't trust the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. They're definitely a team that I think relies a lot on their quarterback. There's a lot of teams out there that couldn't survive without the QB. Luckily, there are a few. I mean, we see the Cowboys survived without Dak for a while there.
Yeah.
The 49ers survived without their starter because they started Trey Lance, and then maybe there's some other teams sprinkled out there. The Dolphins survived without Tua for a little bit.
Yeah. And then did you hear the news about the Titans GM?
I did not.
He got fired.
Mm.
It's a weird timing. So some people think there's something else going on, but looking back at it, apparently Mike Vrabel was not okay with the move for trading AJ Brown, and then they got absolutely torched by AJ Brown. So maybe they just felt like giving up or getting rid of the GM because of bad trade. He also did trade for Julio for a second round pick, which did not turn out well. Also, Bud Dupree, that signing he has not panned out. So we'll see what happens.
You don't think it's a little bit premature because the season isn't over? Like, I feel like that is a little bit suspicious, at least.
Yeah, it's weird now. So some people are like, there's something else going on, which could be true. I could also see as the owner like seeing AJ Brown and go like, why'd you trade him away?
Mm-hmm.
But it is weird timing.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just listing the other stuff. Like, it's not, in my opinion, it's not a terrible move to fire him. I would question the timing though. If you felt this way earlier, why didn't you do it then?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at. It's mid-season, especially this late in the season, for a playoff team to be making a move like this is definitely suspect at best.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, they're bad, but they're at the top of their division, and yeah, so it's just weird all around. And no, let's go to the Chiefs and Bengals. The Bengals just own the Chiefs.
I guess so, and I was really surprised with how well Samaje Perine played. It kind of shows how good that O line is in the run game now, and I really do have to wonder. You did not have the Bengals as a contender. Was there a reason behind that?
So I would put them in like the sleeper category because I just don't know if I can consider them a contender
Why
because
is
of O
that?
line issues.
O line.
But like they're in that like second category where I'd put the Niners, Cowboys, and then I didn't even put the Seahawks in.
Or
Like
the
a sleeper.
Vikings. Did you say the
Or
Vikings?
no, the Vikings are a contender,
Oh, okay.
but they're like borderline contender, but they're still a contender. But the so borderline sleeper because they could almost be contenders, the Bengals.
Got it.
But they're in that like sleeper category because I would not be shocked if Joe Burrow just has an incredible year and the defense does just enough.
Okay. How do you feel about the Patriots? Do you feel like they're not really going to be good enough? Because we've seen them have good games against good teams, like the Jets, like the Vikings. They almost won that game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know. I weird offense coordinator. They don't. It's Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, so I just don't think they're good enough. And Mac Jones has had a bad year, but so that's like kind of my view on it. Like they're good, they're just a finicky team.
Okay. Last thing I want to talk about: Deshaun Watson returned. Thoughts on that?
He did not look good. I was like, oh, they scored 27 points, and then I saw defensively they had a pick six, they had a fumble return for a touchdown, and then they had a punt return for a touchdown, which would equal 21 points.
Yeah, they did. They only had one passing touchdown, I believe, and that was it.
Yeah. The stats don't list Watson with a touchdown.
Well, I know Nick Chubb didn't have a rushing, so maybe it was Kareem Hunt that had a rushing touchdown.
No, he's not listed as well.
Oh, was it 2 field goals then?
Yeah, it might have been 2 field goals because you had. Yeah. Yeah, you had 2 field goals from Cade York.
Okay. Well, that definitely was not the best shot, even though the Texans are not a great team. I guess their defense stepped up at least a little bit.
Yeah, which is a good sign for the Browns because Deshaun Watson hasn't played for over a year, so it's expected to have some rust. And then locker room, you'll have to see the what's happening. But looks like you were pretty close on the Browns having a terrible year.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't trust that team, especially with them not really having a quarterback at the start. And even though I like Jacoby Brissett, their team's not built for a great year.
Yeah, I do think Jacoby built a market for himself next
Oh,
year.
yeah, certainly. I would agree with that.
Same with Geno and Cooper Rush. I'm pretty sure there's one other quarterback I'm thinking of. Oh, and then Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Those are some guys like I could see the Jets maybe going, okay, we don't really want to draft a young guy. We feel we can win now. Let's go pay Garoppolo, Geno,
Did
or
you hear
Brissett.
about the Tom Brady to the Patriots rumors?
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to be the Bucks.
Next year?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah. I definitely don't think it will be. I mean, if it's going to be to a different team, I think San Francisco makes the most sense. He's from the Bay Area. His parents live there. It all checks out.
Yep, I'm the same way. And if you look at San Francisco, maybe they don't want to weigh out Trey Lance. Maybe like trade him or just sign Tom Brady to a 2-year contract for a bunch of money, and then see what like Trey Lance learns under him. But yeah, I would say I would have San Francisco above the Patriots.
On likelihood.
Yeah,
How do you feel about the
because
Jets as a possibility?
that would be crazy. I'm just not sure, but the Jets would make sense. Like he could win with the Jets. I'm
Yeah,
not
the
sure he
Jets are
could.
winning with arguably not great QBs, so I feel like, and they have good talent around him. They have, I think, Brees Hall coming. Brees Hall will be back. They have James Robinson. Donovan Knight is really good. Their new running back.
Mhm.
Uh, they
And they
obviously
still have
have good
enough.
wide receivers: Corey Davis, Greg Wilson. What were you saying?
They have enough picks to like go draft another person, just add to an already young core, and then you fix. So he could slot in. I would probably have him third because I think San Fran, like he grew up there. Then the Patriots, he knows Bill Belichick, so maybe he's cool with it. And then Jets could be an outlier where they pay him enough money.
I mean, another team that I think would be high on that list is the Colts. They play indoors. The issue with them is their talent around him seems lackluster comparatively to any of the other ones.
Yeah, I agree. I know the Colts will be in a market, but I've told you. Have I told you my theory about the QB for the Colts next year?
No.
Rodgers.
Wow. That's
Because him and
interesting. I don't believe so, since multiple times Rodgers has said that he would like to stay in Green Bay, and Green Bay has shown the sentiment back. Something I also find interesting is I don't think Matt Ryan has been the problem. I feel like it's a more deeper rooted issue. They've gone through 3 QBs in 3 years. Yes, they made the playoffs with Philip Rivers, but they didn't win a game. They haven't won a playoff game since Luck left, and it definitely feels like something is off with the organization on a higher level than just QB.
yeah, I think line, and then you mentioned like the targets. I know there was an article about Andrew Luck and his decision to leave, but I haven't been able to read that yet.
Same with me. I haven't been able to read that either. However, whatever it is, it definitely hurts the Colts not having him.
Yeah, I kind of go crazy with the Colts and Rodgers thing because they maybe they sit maybe the Packers sit Rodgers to let him heal up, and since it's not there's not much to play for, and they see what Jordan Love does, And if they like it, then I know Jeff Saturday played with Rodgers, and I'm assuming Jeff Saturday is the coach next year because he hasn't done anything terrible, in my opinion. He's done actually a good job. And so, given his circumstances.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you just have to wonder whether or not, like, is the team around him good enough? Is the question I would ask. Like, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor's deal with injuries. Do you think there's enough there?
I would say no.
Okay, and they would obviously have to trade for him too. He's not
Yeah.
a free agent.
To me, the Colts need to stop trading for QBs because it hasn't worked out. I thought Matt Ryan is not the problem, but
Yeah,
they just need to invest draft capital into other issues like wide receiver and offensive line instead of investing on a QB because they're no longer a quarterback away like they were a few years ago.
yeah. It seems like the team around the QB has consistently gotten worse every year since Luck has left, and that's definitely something that I feel like they have not addressed to this point.
Yeah, I would agree. And then, is there anything? The Commanders and Giants tie was just crazy.
Yeah, there's many times where I believe that one of the two teams is going to win it, and then eventually neither team did, and they play again, right? Last week of the
I
year.
believe. Yes, it just got flexed to Sunday night.
Wow. Okay.
I can't.
Is it week 18 they play, or week 17, or when's the next
That
game?
might be
week 18,
week
right?
17.
Week 17.
Let's see. Nope. No, oh, wait. That's January 2nd. I think it is week 18. Maybe it's not. No.
If it's not week 18, it's next week.
It's next week.
Yeah, not this week, but next week. Because it was either 2 weeks away or the last week of the year.
Okay. Where is it? Oh, the thing that's messed me up is there are Saturday games.
Interesting.
Okay, so I'm still looking. Yeah, it's the week after this one.
Okay, well, that'll definitely be an interesting game. Hopefully it's not a tie. I hate watching ties, but
I know
we'll
it's
see.
annoying. But then one final thing is, looks like Stafford's out for the year, and then Mayfield just got picked up by the Rams.
Yep, and I believe this is. Well, I still believe that Mayfield was not the issue with the Browns, and that he should have been given another chance. And he wasn't really given a fair chance with the Panthers team that didn't even know how to run an offense. But this may be his last chance to show that there is hope there.
Yeah. Depending on what he shows, some team could sign him, like similar to what the Seahawks did, except like they had Geno Smith a few years, but something could happen with Mayfield, in where he's like put into the starter role, or he's in the mix for a starting role. But yeah, I agree. His situations just were not good late with the Browns and with the Panthers.
Both of that is true.
I thought San Francisco was going to put in a claim, but maybe they just want to ride with Purdy.
They also picked up Josh Johnson,
yes,
the veteran that's played with him, obviously, and I think he's a very good QB that maybe will have a chance to start in a playoff game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point. So I believe that's it. Well, we can preview the next week. You have Jets and Bills. That's going to be a key game because now the Bills are in the number 1 spot again with the Chiefs' loss.
Yes. And also with the Dolphins' loss, they're by themselves atop the division.
Oh. And then you have Dolphins and Chargers on Sunday night.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a good one.
Yeah, this one that got flexed. Then you have Browns versus Bengals, and then Lions versus Vikings, where I believe the Lions are a favorite.
The Lions versus who?
The Vikings.
The Lions are the favorite?
That's what I saw, but I could be getting pranked. All right, I'm looking at the spread. Yeah, the Vikings find themselves as a 1.5 road underdog versus the Lions.
That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, that's
What?
weird.
We aren't the ones that make the decisions there, but I would question that one.
Yeah, I would question that too. So there's that, and then those are really the only games because you have Cowboys Texans. That could see Cowboys could fall for a trap game there, and then Buccaneers Niners could be good. We'll see.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Make sure to check out all our other videos, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.